Hello everyone! In this video, we are going to learn how to identify a verb. A verb is a word that describes an action. Words like run, jump, think, and look are all verbs because they describe actions. Since verb tenses can change, recognizing the verb in a sentence isn't always easy. The quickest method is finding the action word. Recognize the different tenses of verbs as well, because different forms of the same verb are sometimes hard to identify. Finally, you can locate main verbs by finding the subject of the sentence. Method number 1. Find the word in a sentence that describes action. Basically, verbs are action words. They describe someone or something performing an action. Start by looking at a sentence and identifying the action words. If there are more than one, underline all of them. For example, in the sentence, he ran to the beach. The verb is ran because running is an action. Think about other words that describe actions. Walk, think, play, and drive are all action words and work as verbs. Number 2. Remember common verb suffixes if you can't identify the action. Verbs often have distinct suffixes or endings. Common verb suffixes are ing, ed, en, and s. These are added when a verb tense changes. If you can't find the action word right away, look at the sentence again for words with common verb suffixes, and you've probably found the verb. If you have trouble finding the verb in the sentence, Jack was thinking about the test. Find the word that ends in ing. In this case, it's thinking, which is also the sentence's verb. The ed and en endings are sometimes irregular in English, so the suffix guideline isn't always reliable. For example, typically, the ed ending is added when a verb is put in its past tense, but the word thought is the past tense of to think. Number 3. Learn the different verb tenses. Verbs are words that are conjugated or put into different forms. A verb conjugation changes depending on what tense the sentence is in. The 5 verb tenses are infinitive, past tense, present tense, past participle, and present participle. All verbs can be conjugated into these different forms. Learning how to identify verbs in different forms is important for locating verbs in a sentence. Let's conjugate the verb think. Through all its forms: infinitive, to think; past tense, thought; present tense, think; past participle, have thought; present participle, and thinking. These are all different forms of the same verb. Number 4. Learn the different tenses of to be. The verb to be is difficult because its tense changes produce different words. These different tenses are easy to miss, so memorize the different tenses of to be to identify them in a sentence. The different forms of to be are is, am, are, was, were, been, and being. Memorize this so you can catch the different versions of to be in a sentence. In the sentence, John is not happy about going to his aunt's house, you can probably identify going as a verb because it's an action. But in this sentence, is also a verb because it's the present tense of to be. Method number 2, finding main verbs. Number 1. Underline all the action words if a sentence has more than one. Many sentences have more than one action word. Only one of these action words acts as the main verb in a sentence. Start by identifying all action words, regardless of their tenses. In the sentence, he was running to the beach to see the show. Both running and see are action words, but only one is the main verb. Underline both to figure out which is the main verb. Number 2. Conjugate the verbs and see if the sentence makes sense. Main verbs are the only words that you conjugate or change the tense of. Change the tense of each verb in the sentence to see if the sentence still works. When you find the verb you can change without ruining the sentence, you've located the main verb. Think about if you converted the sentence, "He was running to the beach to see the show," into the past tense. Would you say, "He was running to the beach to saw the show," or "He ran to the beach to see the show"? Clearly, the first one doesn't make sense. That means the main verb is running or ran. Number 3. Identify the subject of the sentence. In English, the verb usually comes right after the sentence subject. So finding the subject helps you locate the main verb. Once you think you've found the main verb, check yourself by finding the subject of the sentence. In sentences, subjects are the things doing the action. In the sentence, "He was running to the beach to see the show," we figured out that running was the main verb. Now check the sentence to see where the subject is. Who or what is doing the action? In this sentence, he is doing the action, and that's the subject. Since verbs usually come right after the sentence subject, this confirms that running is the verb. That's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for listening and have a nice day.